Let's take a journey. It's 2024, and we all know on Tuesday, 05 November, is the election for the president. We all have a choice to make, and our choice will be reflected at the polls. We have constitutional freedom to vote for who we desire or see best fit for the position. In the War of 1776, men fought and died for this freedom, and due to this fight, we have been given this constitutional right. My policy on this is voting in a free democracy of a sovereign nation, independent and one nation under God. Credibility: my name is Jeffrey Conaway, and as a citizen of the United States of America, I have ascertained the right to be a registered voter. I know that the importance of each election has a precedence in the upcoming foreign policies being made, whether it be a war amongst other nations, whether it be a policy of how we are going to affect public policy in regards to everyday economic needs, such as our food, our fuel, and our growth as a society to deter from inflation. We make progress, freedoms that other nations don't have. A voice to reflect our opinions. Our choice reflects the chapter of our democracy. Every next chapter has a choice, and we make that choice at the polls every Tuesday. And may there be also free other elections, such as state and local elections, whether we're voting for a local governor, local state affiliate for the state, or we are electing a individual society to succeed into the ramifications of what they think is best policies for our nation and our states as well. We'll look at the influence of the pandemic that it had on our elections of the 2020. As I regard to this election chart, let's take a look. We can see here that there was an influence of the no absentee ballot cast in 2020 election of the presidency. We didn't think it was much, even though it's only 0.5%. That's quite a substantial margin if you look at the chart. It's a graph that depicts the efforts in the conflicts the society had of who they wanted to choose. But we always make that choice, and that's something we need to choose freely, that we have been given through our constitutional rights. We've seen the footholds that the pandemic has had on our society. We've seen the foothold that the pandemic has had on our healthcare providers. And we vote for people in the office to protect these employees of these great sovereign nations, to protect our citizens of the United States of America. We think it's lame, but it's not lame. It's reality. And reality is truth set before us. We make a choice, and a choice is ours to make. We can't disregard that, and let's make a point to always influence our opinion, even though we don't think it's anything that's of importance. Voters go to the poll for multiple reasons: state, local, and federal candidates. Also, for constitutional or amendment changes within. The state's social elections are sometimes, if removed, pre-fulfillment. Satisfaction state steps are we are satisfied with our choice, or often a time period we see our options, we ignore. What steps will you take next? We'll be granted this freedom because there's been men and women who have died for this freedom. In the War of 1776, when the pen was handed down, Hosea, does you see the Star-Spangled Banner, a song that remembers us for the freedoms of the choices that we have made. We made the steps to say that we wanted to be a sovereign nation, a democratic nation ruled by the people, not by the nation, ruled by the constitutional rights that we've been given and granted as a society and a nation that was in turmoil through the British government. Now we find that freedom. A visualization, as I want to show you, is the absentee ballot voting in the 2020 election. There was a similar difference between 2018 and 2020. But the significant difference has been between 2020 and 2014 and 2004 to 2016. We may not realize it, but this had a significant impact on the choice that we made at the polls. Some chose not to go and chose to do an absentee ballot. An absentee ballot in Illinois is known as a voter turnout, an absentee ballot is known as a vote by mail election. So we chose to make our selection through the mail. We may not understand the ramifications that our choices made, but they're always there, and they always made a point of reference. We can never understand the full totality of our own opinions. Even though our candidate may not have won, we still had that choice. We voted for that person we thought was best fit for that position. We see that, as I said earlier, a policy of voting is a free democracy of a sovereign nation, independent and one nation under God. We choose who we will choose. We vote for who we want. We vote for the policies in the elections that we chose to vote in. So will you go to the polls and vote for that selection? We know that as a society, we have that choice as a nation to go and register to vote. At the USA.gov, we have that opportunity to go and register to vote for our person as a nation, to choose who we will vote for as a registered voter. We go to the polls to make a selection, a choice that matters more than anything. A choice that we don't understand, but will have ramifications. We've seen it in the streets of our societies that have conflict. We see that in conflicts of climate control. We see that in mass shootings. We see that in our society as a casualty of war, if you would say. But it really is our choice to make an opinion that is not fulfilled by our constitutional rights to vote for who we chose. So I ask you today to go to the registrar to vote for those persons that you want to vote. Or maybe you want to vote for the registry to vote as a registering voter, which you can do easily through your driver's license renewal. Make that choice and make that selection a permanent clause that you will make that decision and that effort to fulfill that obligation as a citizen that is freely granted to you as a citizen of the United States. Thank you.